Hey everybody, Dr. Summer here. Today I want to talk to you about healthy cycles and what it looks like to have a normal healthy cycle, what it is and what it isn't. So before we get started, make sure that you like and comment any questions that you have, and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any future content. From a very early age as women, we're pretty much taught that because we're women, our periods and our monthly cycles are terrible, right? That they're supposed to be painful, that they're going to be heavy, and you're probably going to be stuck in bed for a few days. And oh, yeah, the mood swings, it's fine, it's just part of your period. It's crazy how much we normalize all these terrible things, and essentially we're just told, oh, you were born with ovaries, it's just supposed to suck. But that's simply not the truth. Women oftentimes will even bond over their terrible monthly period experiences. I know I have. I talk to so many of my friends and complain about the cramps and the headaches and again the mood swings, the cravings, all these different things. But the truth is, and the reality is, that isn't what it is supposed to look like. Our periods are not supposed to make us bedridden. They're not supposed to leave us doubled over in pain. In fact, it is very possible and very normal to have healthy periods where we have mild to no cramping, no breast tenderness, no crazy mood swings, no cravings, and essentially pretty much go on with our life, which is what the goal is here. So today, I'm going to go over some helpful tips to make sure you know what a healthy, normal period is like and how to get there. So like I said, a woman's period is supposed to have mild to no cramping, no spotting, no headaches, no crazy fatigue, no cravings, all these different things. And if we do, that's an indicator that there is something deeper going on. So if you have things like heavy clotting, if you are super irregular, if your periods are really long or even really short, if you are having some breast tenderness, all of those are indicators that there is something deeper going on with your health. Now, I really challenge us women to change our perspective about our periods. They are essentially a superpower that women get. So if you think about it, periods have been termed the fifth vital sign because they give so much insight into the health of our bodies. Men do not have that superpower. They kind of have to just guess every month what's going on with them because they have no indicator. With women, we know, okay, our periods are regular or irregular, or I'm having this pain and not having pain. All of those things we can use to try to figure out what deeper issue is going on into our body. Usually it is going to be a nutritional deficiency, but also it could be stress related. Maybe we are too overwhelmed. Maybe we're not sleeping enough. Maybe we're not working out, or we're overworking our body. All of these things can be figured out because of our periods. So again, I really challenge women to change their perspective on their monthly period. I know that if you are having terrible periods, it's not easy to do. I did for many, many years. I had to call out of school, call out of work because of just super heavy, painful cycles. And after really changing my perspective and changing some of my health, it has drastically changed the quality of my periods. And that is what I want to help you with today. So because our periods are essentially the fifth vital sign, they give us a lot of insight into what is going on with our health. So we know that if we're having a really bad period, there's likely some bad health issues going on. Now, fun fact, a woman's egg takes about 120 days in order to go through a full maturation cycle. So women, if you are having a really terrible period, if it is worse than usual and you're not really sure what's going on, look backwards a few months. What happened 90 days ago? See if your life had changed, if your diet had changed, if you had any sleep issues, if you went through a really stressful time at work, whatever it is. A lot of times what happens is when something really stressful goes on or when there's a change in our diet and the quality of our health is poor, that egg that is now beginning the maturation cycle has to go through again that full maturation before it essentially comes out for ovulation during the following several periods. So if you're having a really bad cycle, I challenge you to look backwards, see what was going on with your health and with your life at that point in time. And it's a really good indicator to say, oh yeah, I was kind of having a really stressful time. So it is pretty cool to be able to go back and see how that changes. Now with that, because it does take 120 days in order for your eggs to fully mature, any changes that you make diet, lifestyle wise, even the products that you may change, you really need to give them at least those 120 days in order to see if it's going to make a difference in your health and in your quality of your period. So make sure that any supplements that you start taking, you stay on consistently, or any of those lifestyle changes, again, you do those consistently for those 120 days so you can see if it's truly going to benefit you and your period's health. Now, another super important part about having a healthy cycle is making sure that you are ovulating. So ovulation is when an egg is released, typically about 14 days before your period starts, and this is the time frame of whether you become pregnant or not. So it is super important, obviously, to make sure that you're ovulating if you're wanting to get pregnant. However, it is a very common misconception that ovulation is not really that important unless you're trying to have a baby. See, what happens every time that you ovulate is that your progesterone, which is a woman's super hormone, it's one of my favorites, your progesterone essentially increases, and it's like putting a deposit in the bank. You want your progesterone to be at a good, healthy, high level, because not only is that going to make you feel better, helps with sleep quality, with mental health, all these things, it's also super essential for things like bone density, for your metabolism, for heart health. Essentially, making sure that you're ovulating is not only good for overall health of your entire body, it's also going to show that you're eating enough and you're fueling your body well, that you're getting enough protein and enough carbs in order to have your body ovulate, because at that point, it thinks that you are fueled enough in order to potentially grow a human. It's also going to be a great indicator to show us how stressed you have been. Ovulation can be severely impacted by stress due to a wonderful thing called the cortisol steal. So for those of you who don't know, cortisol is your stress hormone. There is healthy levels of cortisol, and then there is unhealthy levels of cortisol. So if you run a very stressful life, it's very likely that your cortisol is going to be on the higher end. And what cortisol does is that it can actually take molecules of progesterone, again, that really awesome women's super hormone, and turn it into more cortisol. So essentially, it's stealing all of the goodness that we want in order for ovulation, in order for overall health, and it's turning it into cortisol because our body is so stressed out. And it's going to be nearly impossible to have healthy hormones and therefore healthy cycles if we're constantly in this stressed out state. So ovulation is super important, making sure that your stress is good and under control. Again, we're not trying to take away all of the stress that you have in your life, but you want to make sure that you're adapting or that you're increasing the amount of time that you're not stressed. So adding in more rest, even exercise is really good at releasing cortisol. So making sure that you are making a priority to rest and relax as well. Now, like I said, I suffered for years of having really painful, heavy cycles. So I want to give you some practical tips of things that I have tried that have really made a difference and an impact on the overall quality of my period. So one of the first things that I changed was actually switching from conventional products to organic products. There are so many toxins in the regular conventional products that you can just buy at the store today that your body does not want, does not need, and will honestly make the pain worse. So by switching to organic pads and organic tampons, I noticed a pretty significantly instant decrease in the cramping and the pain of my periods. So I definitely recommend that you would switch, if you haven't already, from the regular conventional products to organic. They are an absolute lifesaver. One of my other absolute favorite game-changing things that I did for my period that I tell everybody about is magnesium, but more specifically, magnesium glycinate. So there are many different forms of magnesium. They all kind of do similar, but also very different things. Magnesium citrate is going to be the most popular. It's also going to be the cheapest. So it's going to be in most products that you see that offer magnesium. However, that one's usually better as a laxative. So avoid that one if you can, especially for this instance. But if you're looking to help with cramping, magnesium glycinate is a wonderful thing. And it essentially helps to calm down any cramping in your body. It helps with muscle recovery, fatigue, all of these things. It can also help with sleep and anxiety, which can be difficult, especially around that time of the month. So I tell everybody about this. I recommend it to everybody. Magnesium glycinate has been just a wonderful thing, and I love it. So I definitely recommend that as well. Something else that I changed was actually the quality of my workouts. So I used to do HIIT training. For those of you who don't know, it's a high intensity interval training. Essentially, you get a whole lot of working out done in a very short period of time. It is very intense. I did enjoy it. I had a lot of fun with it. However, I did learn that it can severely impact your cortisol levels, which again, like I said earlier, can cause a whole lot of issues when it comes to women's hormones. So instead of doing the HIIT training, I switched to more gentle walking, some yoga, stretching, and then actually doing some heavy weightlifting as well. And that has been a really big game changer too. And now, obviously, you want to make sure, like I said earlier, that you're fueling your body well. So, making sure that you're eating healthy, try to avoid tons of excess sugar, making sure that you're eating plenty of healthy carbs, healthy fats, especially, are super important as well. That you're sleeping well, and that you're getting enough rest and relaxation into. Obviously, as well, something that made the biggest change in the health and the quality of my period was actually going through the protocol that I offer for couples. So it is a protocol that you can do whether you're trying to get pregnant or not. But after I started this, me and my husband both did this protocol for about 6 months before getting pregnant. And I noticed probably about month 3 or month 4, there was a really big change in the quality of the health of my period. I had barely any pain. I was sleeping great. Breast tenderness was gone. So I definitely recommend, again, whether you're trying to get pregnant or not, this protocol is super helpful. But definitely, if you're wanting to get pregnant, having a healthy period is extremely important because we know that a period is a great indicator of our health. So if we are having terrible periods, there's something deeper going on. So definitely we want to make sure that if we're trying to get pregnant, our periods are healthy so we know our hormones and the rest of our body is healthy as well. So that is it for my suggestions. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And if you decide that you want to work with me in the future, I do have a link below for a 15-minute complimentary consultation. Where we'll sit down and talk about everything going on to see if we're a good fit and go from there. So I hope you guys had a good time, that you found some great information from this, and that you all have a wonderful rest of your day. See ya.